Okay, in this tutorial I'm going to introduce you to Unity's Cinemachine. Cinemachine is a really great tool inside Unity for generating cinematics. So in essence you can create a whole movie inside Unity. So it'll be playing real time, and what we do is save out the movie file. So I'm just going to walk you through quickly this little scene I've created as an example, and then later on we're going to move into another scene, scene number 2, which is a cut down limited version, and I'll actually walk you through the process of setting up a Cinemachine camera, etc. So here we are in Unity. If you're not versed in Unity, you basically have a game view over here, and then on the right side window, so one window here on the left, sorry, is your game. On the right side we have our scene window. Just like in, say, Maya or a 3D application package, it's the same. You can scroll, move around. So this is the working area, and this is your final game or viewport. We have the inspector over here, which is a bit like Maya's outliner, or sorry, Maya's attribute editor. And down here you have the hierarchy, which is like equivalent of Maya's outliner. So here I have a camera, I have a timeline. If I click timeline, and this is my scene, and there's the scene here inside my project folder on the far left. Okay, the timeline I've placed here. You can easily undock and dock these by just dragging them around and putting them into where you wish. So I like to have mine like this, timeline down the bottom. So let me just play this through, and I'll show you the final movie after it's come run through. Now, just quickly, this is the layers in the timeline, and it just runs from left to right. Okay, that look like this. Okay, here's the camera layer. These are CM or Cinemachine cameras. There we go. So it's just jumping from cam to cam or shot to shot. And then we have an animation layer in which I have this character will do a little wave. Oh, better click back on my timeline. And then I have a recorder track to actually record the movie out. And there it is there, and it's recording it out and saving it to my captures folder. Okay, and I'm pushing it out as output resolution is 1020, or sorry, 1080. You can go up to 4K. So, and then I have an audio track, and here's an audio file I'm playing. Okay, let's just play this and you'll get a better understanding of it. So I'll push play up here, play. Let's just let this run through, and you can watch the timeline bar here as it plays through. And I'll click on this area here. I can actually move the character as well. So you'll notice when the playhead gets to here, it's going to change cameras. Okay, so I'll just go through a few different props and assets. We have different effects going on in the background, just to show you that it is capable, okay, of quite high resolution and etc. Pretty neat. Now it's going to change camera again. Nice one. There we go. Just move this. I'm just moving the guy around. This is depth of field, you'll notice, in the background. So it's blurred in the background. Let's try another one. Okay. I'll try a different one. Ooh. So I'm going through many different effects. We're about to change camera soon. Back to VCam 2 around now. And the music stopped. And then finally we're going to go to one more camera. There, it's behind us. That's from behind the player. And I'll just stop this now. I'm just going to stop the movie playing. There's one more view. Okay, so as you can see, you can get a whole bunch of effects going there. Okay, and I'll just stop that. Okay, so there it is played through. Let's have a look at the movie that it generated. Here it is. This is how many megabytes? 59 megabytes for a 1080. There we go, and there's the movie it's created. I'm just going to minimize it a little bit so we can view it. And you'll notice it's going to change cameras shortly. Our first, there you go, there's our first camera change. And the quality is great, looks amazing. Okay, I'm just going through different effects here, that's all I'm doing, just to showcase what it's capable of. Okay, so let's stop this and let's stop this now, and we'll go to the other scene I mentioned where we'll create one ourselves. Okay, so here we are in the stripped down version of a scene. We've just got a character, ground plane and two objects. There's no camera. So let's just go through this, and there's no timeline. So, and here they are here inside our hierarchy. Character, directional lights, we've got two lights, a sphere, a plane and a cube. Alright, well let's start out because we're using Cinemachine, we need to import the tools. We need both Cinemachine and it's called the post processor. Okay, and there's also one more called the Unity recorder. So let's see how we can get those tools. One, come up to your window and go package manager, and then inside here Cinemachine, you can type this inside the search area, type Cinemachine. So you want to get that one, and then down here you go install, and then the next one you want is post processing, this one, install that one, and then after that one you want the Unity recorder, and you'll install that as well. Once you've got those three, then you can close the package manager. Okay, and you'll know when they're installed. For example, Cinemachine should pop up here. Okay, right, so I'm interested in finding the timeline window, so I'll come here and I'll go window, sequencing timeline. This is a timeline window. I'll drag that down. I like personal preference to have it down the bottom. Drag that over. There, I have a timeline here, but it says to start creating a timeline, select a game object. Okay, let's create a new game object. So in the hierarchy, I'll right click and I'll go create empty. And here it is here. It's an empty game object. Let's name it. We'll call it timeline. Call it timeline 1 even. Okay, I'll give it that. There we go, timeline 1. I'll hit enter. It's called timeline 1. So now we have this empty game object. And over here now, to begin timeline, it says we can hit create. So I'll click create. And we better give the timeline a name. So we'll call this my timeline. Okay. There we go. We now have a timeline, and we've got a actual layer inside the timeline. Now I like to lock the timeline so as whenever I select another object, the timeline doesn't disappear. So I'll click my timeline, and over here the little padlock, I'll click that just so as the timeline stays there. By the way, you can do that with your inspector. If you wish to keep an object's information in the inspector, you can click it up here as well. Okay, all of these little windows allow you to do that. Okay, let's move on. So here we have our timeline. Let's create a Cinemachine camera. So to do that, we need a camera. So let's go game object, is it? And camera. Now we have a camera. This is a standard Unity camera, and I'm just going to call, oh no, we'll leave it as camera. I'll call it main camera up here. I'll type main. It's my main camera. It's called main camera. So, okay, now being a main camera, what we need to do is add a couple of Cinemachine components. Okay, actually one. There's only one, and it's called a Cinemachine brain. Right, to do that, you can either go here, add component, and you could type Cine, C-I-N-E, and then scroll down through the list, and there's Cinemachine Brain. There we go. We just created our first component and we added that, and there it is there. That's a component. Even the camera itself is a component. See the little horizontal dark line? That segregates each different component. So this is what you call a component. Okay, so what we're interested in here now is, that's all good actually. We need to add two more components, and they're going to be post-processing components to our camera, the main camera. So we'll go add component. I want to change from Cine to post. And the first one we want is going to be a post-process volume. I'll click that. And then the second one we want, I'll just scroll down. There's our post-process volume. Okay, and I'm interested in, I'm going to come into scene 2. You'll notice it's got all these little rainbow looking components here basically. These are post-processing filters. That's what they are. Okay, so I've got some already created here by default. Right, so I could click on my camera over here, and if I wish to come down to my volume, I could drag the profile. These are what you call post-processing profiles. I could drag one of these, like the camera, this one here, over into it and let it go. All right, that's the right one, I think. I'm just going to check that. No, sorry, main cam. I could drag that one in, or alternatively, I could just click new. If you haven't created any, just click new and it'll create one for you. So there we go, I got one there now. Now next up, let's add another component to the main camera. We want a post-process layer. Post-process layer, the next one up. There we go, so we got the brain, the volume, and the layer. Okay, so as I come down through this, you'll notice the layer, it says nothing. Make sure that's set to everything. That's important. That way we can actually see our effects as we start adding effects later on. Okay, so that should be it for now for the main camera. What we want to do next is create what are called virtual cameras. Cinemachine works by using virtual cameras, and our main camera just attaches itself to those virtual cameras. Virtual cameras are just a point in space. So let's go Cinemachine up here, create virtual camera. There's our first virtual camera, CM VCam 1. Okay, and what we need to do with these virtual cameras is add an extension. This allows us to generate our effects. So we go select under extensions, add extension to it straight away, that, and we'll go Cinemachine post-processing right down the bottom. There we go. Now we're in a good position to start adding our own little effects. All right, so it says we need a profile. We better drop a profile in. Now you could also go new, but I've already got one from earlier, so I'm just going to go CM Cam 1. I'll drag that one over, and you'll notice I've already got a vignette set up. If I actually undo that, and I'll create one from new just to show you guys. If I were to go new, it'd come in like that, and it created a brand new one down here. VMCam 1, I think it's, I've got actually 3 of them now, but there it is. There's my new one over here in my post-processing. Now it's got, hey, you got no overrides. Let's add an effect. So I'll click Add Effect, Unity, and I will go with Vignette. There's a vignette, and this will put a little halo around my camera. I'll turn on color, and I will turn on intensity. There it is. You can see it working. A little vignette. Okay. So that's our first effect. Now, what we want to do is drag that virtual camera, CMVCam 1, into our timeline. So I'll drag it over, and it's not working. Why is that? Because we have not actually set a Cinemachine track. To do this, we need to right-click inside the timeline area and go Cinemachine track. There we go. Oh, and it says we don't have a camera. Let's drag our main camera onto that. That's what we need. Now we can pull the virtual cam in onto that. There, that's better. Let's reduce that a bit, down to 100, say 100 frames. We'll go 100. There we go. Okay, there's our first camera, and it'll play like this. Let's create a second one. So we'll go Cinemachine, virtual camera. There we go. We've got two cams. Add a component. We need the component. Remember, sorry, not add component, an extension. Select Cinemachine post-processing once again. Okay, and this time we'll add another new profile. New. There it is. And straight up, go add effect. Unity. Whoops, I added bloom. Oh, I don't want bloom. Add effect, Unity. Let's go for a depth of field. There's my depth of field, and I better turn these on, whichever attributes I want. So I'll go focus, distance, aperture, and focal length. And it's not going to work until we drag our camera into the timeline, remember? Now we can see it. So we've got two of them. And if I were to, now what we do need to do is move our cameras. Right now they're sitting at world 0, 0. Cam 1, let's have a look. And I'll rotate it so I can view my character. There he is. Okay, come in, might start off nice and close. Let's go to, there he is. Now camera 2, let's pull that out. I better select camera 2 in my hierarchy. Pull this one and rotate it. And I'll pull right back just to show you. Way back here somewhere and up. How's that? So we've got two cameras. VCam 1 there and VCam 2. VCam 2, if I select it in the timeline, I can adjust the effect of the depth of field. So I'll bring that down. I should be able to see the effect take place. There we go. Bit of a blur happening. I'll adjust this one too. Alright, so that'll do for now. And next up, so yeah, it's working. Fantastic. So if you wanted to, you can import more assets, more characters, more objects. Go assets, import new asset. So you might have created some objects, assets, textures, etc. inside Maya. You import them through there. Assets, import new assets. Okay, just be aware of that. Game objects. You've got effects in here. You've got some lights. You've got 3D objects, all sorts of things. Have a bit of fun with that. So, all right, moving on. Now we're ready to create our little movie. So right click in the timeline again. This time we're going to add our little timeline recorder, which was the Unity recorder tool that we brought in before. So here, Unity Editor Recorder, recorder track. There's our recorder track. Right click it and go add recorder clip. There's our first clip. I'll just bring that down, and if you click on the actual clip here, here's all your information on the right. The file name, you can name it, you can give it the path and tell it for example, animation clip. Now I'll change that to movie, and it might be an MP4 or a web movie, and you can probably change also, the game view. I want to capture it to, game view. That's what I want to capture, the game view. And I'm also going to, quality will be high, and I can also tell it the actual where I want to save it to. Okay, that's where you do that. Okay guys, that's about it. I'm going to push play now just so you can see this little movie. Hit play, and it should play over here in the game view. There we go, into camera 2. Fantastic. Okay, that's it. But one more thing, you could right click and add a audio track. Then you could import some audio and drop your audio on the timeline. Okay, alright guys, thanks for watching.